As I was thinking about making a video for today, I couldn't help but consider all the ways I could take advantage of April Fool's Day. I could make a video about why I quit Grounded, or I found the new Manus boss, but instead I decided to make a list of the top 10 things the Grounded devs could use as April Fool's jokes. Before we jump into the list, I want to thank the Overseer 91, Grey Knight, and all my other channel members who help make videos like this possible. Let's get started. Imagine waking up this morning and seeing a tweet or message on Discord saying that today the new public test server for Grounded is opening up. That would have been probably the biggest joke that the devs could have played us on April Fool's Day, because everyone knows that most of us are waiting for new content. Unless you're a brand new player, you've probably done everything in the game. You're just waiting for the next update. So I think that would have been a pretty funny joke to play on us today on April 1st. Next up, and along the lines of things that people have been asking for and would have been a funny joke, would have been that red ants are now tameable, specifically the red worker ants. As you know, in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, there was a little ant that the kids in that movie tamed, and they used it to ride across the backyard. Now, while I wouldn't see them as being mounts in this game because they're so small, it would have been pretty interesting to see a joke saying you can now tame red ants by giving them maybe like raw weevil meat or perhaps the aphid honeydew, and then you can use them to gather resources for you. So I think that would have been another joke the devs could have played on us today. Next up on our list of April Fool's jokes the devs could have played on us would be that we can now tame ladybugs and use them as mounts. So wouldn't it be hilarious if we could just sit here and ride the ladybugs across the yard, use them to fight for us, because if another bug, like let's say for example that orb weaver attacked us, the ladybug would actually attack back and defend us. We could also possibly use it to transport more materials. And what about if we could tame it by just feeding it raw aphid meat? I think that would be a hilarious joke, although I would love to see mounts in the game. I don't really think that they fit in the game. It would have been a pretty funny joke. Next up on our list of April Fool's jokes the devs could have played on us today would be that you could buy additional backpack slots from Burgle. This is one of the most requested features in the game. Now, if you're like me and you have tons of raw science that you're not going to spend, now this is a creative world, but in my survival world, I do have, I think, around like 25 or 30,000 raw science, and I've purchased everything. Imagine if you could head on over to Burgle today and buy additional backpack slots, maybe for like 5,000 raw science each. And honestly, if that was the cost, I'd be willing to pay it just to get these extra slots down here so I could have more resources, so I could carry more resources and not have to constantly be leaving stuff behind or going back and forth to my base. The next April Fool's joke on our list is going to be that fishing was added to the game. Now, that's another feature that's been requested. It's not as common as some others, but I think it will be pretty funny. They could have done something along the lines of going under this lab that's underneath the pagoda in the pond, that perhaps this door that is over here that you can't get through has been unlocked, and there's a new burgle chip in there that you could take the burgle and purchase the ability to craft fishing rods, or maybe he would just give you a fishing rod and then you could fish for either treasure or maybe different resources. Maybe you could fish for, I don't know, I don't think you could catch tadpoles because they'd be a little bit too big, but there could be things like maybe you could fish for the algae that's down here, maybe you could get treasure, stuff like that. I think that would have been a pretty funny joke, adding fishing to the game. Now, in the latest developer live stream where Adam Brenneke, the game director, was on there, the question was asked about bugs that might be added or insects that might be added, creatures that might be added. One was butterflies, and it was suggested to add butterflies to the game. And while he didn't say yes, it was definitely happening, it does sound like butterflies would possibly happen in the future. And I think it would have been pretty funny to go along with that, adding a butterfly glider. Now, of course, I don't have that. I'm just going to pull out the regular glider. As you know, right now, we just have the dandelion tuft here as a glider. And while it does serve its purpose of getting us down to the ground, it doesn't really let us travel really far. So I think it would have been pretty funny if they would have done a mock setup of having butterfly wings, allowing us to fly long distances across the map or backyard. One of the long-standing rumors for Grounded is that there's going to be a mantis boss added at some point in the future. Would it not have been hilarious if we would have woke up this morning with a cinematic posted on Twitter or social media, maybe on their YouTube channel, saying the broodmother now has some competition? So perhaps going into the hedge, instead of just fighting the broodmother, you might have a chance of running into an even more deadly foe, and they just show a mantis hiding up in the hedge somewhere. I think that would have been pretty funny, and also played on the fact that all the rumors of the mantis is coming at some point in the future. Another often requested feature or question is, will we ever be able to have more than 4 players in the game? Now, when you start out at the beginning of the game in the new world, you're going to see a little suitcase looking thing there that has 5 player slots in there. Now, there's been different speculation on who the 5th slot is. Is it Dr. Wendell? Is it someone else? There's also bones around the map that you can stumble upon. So who are those people? Are they other children? Are they just other people that somehow met their demise after being shrunk? So I think it would have been pretty funny if there would have been a message coming out today saying that they've decided to double the capacity of players, and instead of having only 4 players, you can now play up with up to 8 players on co-op in Grounded. Now, one of the few game-changing events in the game right now is plugging up the canister in the haze. And of course, once you do that, there's no turning back. The only way to get rid of it is, or to turn the haze back on, or to have the haze there, is to start a brand new game. So I think it would have been pretty interesting if they would have posted something saying perhaps maybe with a new resource that they added to the game, with the new update, would have been something like you can replug the haze up and get rid of all the infected insects that are around the yard. Because one of the downsides of the plugging the haze is these little guys and all the other infected creatures do end up spreading all around the map and just wreak havoc all over the place. The ladybugs destroy tons of grass. There's dead bugs all over the place. So there are some benefits, but there's also some major drawbacks. And last but certainly not least would be that they've added a new lab that will allow us to get into the house. Now, I don't know where this thing could be. Maybe it's inside this drain pipe down here. Maybe there's a hole under the deck or something. But I think it would have been pretty interesting because tons of people have asked to get inside the house. That's probably one of the most commonly asked questions is, will we be able to go in the house? And of course, the answer has been it's not planned at this time. Maybe it'll happen after 1.0. Maybe if the game's popular enough, maybe they make a sequel where it's inside the house instead of just being in the backyard. As of right now, there's no plans for it, but I think it would have been pretty interesting if maybe they would just tweeted a teaser picture of maybe the house with some kind of lab attached to it or something, leading us to believe that we could actually get inside of there. So those are my 10 things that I think the devs could have used as April Fool's jokes today. I kind of just wanted to do something fun today because, as you know, I'm waiting for more content in the game. I'm sure most of you are as well. So if you found this video interesting, if you found it funny, make sure to click the like button and hit the subscribe button for more videos like this in the future. Here's a couple other videos you might like watching right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.